Blind date with a janitor. The millionaire CEO mom never expected true love. The cozy downtown cafe glowed under strands of golden lights, giving the place a soft, almost magical feeling. At a small table near the window, Victoria Sterling checked her phone for the third time in just a few minutes. She was 34 years old, the founder of Sterling Consulting, a company she had grown into a multi-million-dollar success through relentless work and sharp decision-making. In the boardroom, she was calm and confident. But tonight, sitting in this cafe, she felt nervous, like a teenager going on her very first date. Victoria's blonde hair was neatly styled. Her cream blazer fit her perfectly, and she looked every bit the polished executive. Still, her hands trembled slightly as she smoothed her skirt. It had been 2 years since her best friend Maria started pushing her to try dating again. For the past 3 years, she had focused only on her business and on raising her 7-year-old daughter, Sophie. At the table beside her, Sophie happily swung her little legs while sipping a mug of hot chocolate. Her mint green dress and bright smile made Victoria's heart soften, even while nerves fluttered in her stomach. "Mommy, you look so pretty," Sophie said sweetly. Victoria smiled, brushing a hand over her daughter's hair. "Thank you, sweetheart, but remember, this isn't anything serious. We're just meeting a new friend for coffee." Sophie nodded, though her curious eyes sparkled. Children always had a way of sensing more than adults thought they did. Victoria's gaze moved around the cafe, wondering how she would recognize her date. Maria's description had been vague: tall, dark hair, kind eyes, and a smile that feels real. Beyond that, Maria had refused to share details, insisting Victoria keep an open mind. At exactly 7 o'clock, a man approached their table. He was tall, his dark hair sprinkled with a touch of gray. His smile, offered carefully in her direction, was warm and genuine. Maria had been right about that. But as he stepped closer, Victoria noticed things she hadn't expected. His clothes were neat but clearly well worn. His hands, extended for a handshake, were rough, marked by physical labor. This was not the polished businessman she had assumed Maria would arrange. "Victoria?" he asked, his tone carrying a hint of nerves. "I'm Michael Rodriguez. Maria said I'd know you by your smile. She didn't tell me I'd be meeting your beautiful little assistant too." Sophie giggled at the word assistant, easing some of Victoria's tension. "This is my daughter Sophie," Victoria said, studying his reaction. She had seen men lose interest the moment they realized she was a package deal, but Michael's smile only grew warmer. "It's wonderful to meet you, Sophie," he said sincerely, shaking her tiny hand with respect. "Are you Mommy's new boyfriend?" Sophie asked, her bluntness catching Victoria off guard. Michael laughed, the sound deep and pleasant. "I'm hoping to be your Mommy's new friend first. We'll see where it goes from there." As he sat down across from them, Victoria's mind shifted. Yes, his appearance suggested he worked with his hands, not in an office tower. But his voice was educated, his words thoughtful, and his attention toward Sophie felt genuine. "Maria mentioned you work downtown," Victoria asked carefully, testing the waters. Michael nodded. "I do maintenance and custodial work for several buildings in the financial district. It's not glamorous, but it's steady and gives me the flexibility I need." A flicker of disappointment crossed Victoria's mind before shame quickly followed. She had built her empire from nothing, working nights, waiting tables, and cleaning houses to get through school. Who was she to judge anyone by their job title? "That must be demanding," she said softly. Michael noticed her hesitation and leaned forward. "I want to be upfront. Maria told me very little about you, except that you were extraordinary and deserved someone real. Looking around here tonight, I can tell we probably come from very different worlds. If you'd rather end this now, I would understand." Victoria studied him. He was giving her an easy way out, even though his eyes revealed he hoped she wouldn't take it. Sophie's gaze darted between them, sensing the tension. "What made you agree to a blind date?" Victoria asked, curious. Michael's expression softened. "Honestly, I haven't dated in 3 years. My focus has been on work and caring for my mother. She's been fighting cancer. Maria's my neighbor, and she thought I needed to try living again instead of just surviving." The mention of his sick mother struck a chord with Victoria, who remembered caring for her own during her final illness. "I'm sorry," she said gently. "How is she now?" "She's doing better," Michael replied. "Her last round of treatment ended 2 months ago. The doctors are hopeful. It's been tough, but it's taught me what matters." Before Victoria could respond, Sophie spoke up with childlike bluntness. "My daddy left when Mommy got busy with work. Are you going to leave too?" Victoria's face burned, but Michael didn't miss a beat. "Sophie," he said kindly, "I don't know your mom very well yet, so I can't make promises about the future. But I can tell you this. If I'm lucky enough to be friends with you both, I'd never walk away just because things get hard. True friends stay, even when life is tough." The honesty in his tone made Victoria see him differently. "Would you like some coffee?" she asked finally. "I think we should start this conversation over." Michael's face lit with relief. "I'd love that." As the evening went on, Victoria discovered Michael was well-read, able to talk about history, books, and current events with ease. He had once been in college, but left when his father passed to support his family. Despite that, he never stopped learning. More importantly, he gave Sophie his full attention, asking her about school, friends, and dreams with respect that made her beam. "What do you want to be when you grow up, Sophie?" Michael asked. "A princess who runs a company like Mommy," Sophie said proudly. Michael nodded seriously. "That's perfect. Princesses should know business. It helps them run their kingdoms wisely." Victoria's heart softened. He didn't dismiss Sophie's imagination, he encouraged it. Later, when Sophie went to the restroom, Victoria turned to him. "I owe you an apology. When I first saw you, I made assumptions I shouldn't have." Michael shook his head gently. "You don't need to apologize. You're a successful woman with a daughter. You're allowed to be careful. But maybe tonight is reminding us both of what really matters." When Sophie returned, she climbed onto Michael's lap as if she'd known him forever. Victoria watched in amazement at how naturally her daughter trusted him. "Can Michael come for dinner sometime?" Sophie asked hopefully. Victoria glanced at Michael. His eyes mirrored the same quiet hope she felt. "I think that can be arranged," she said softly. 3 months later, Michael was part of their lives. He'd earned the respect of Victoria's colleagues with his intelligence and character, and Sophie adored him. His mother had become like family, and even Victoria's skeptical friends had come to admire his sincerity. Victoria had learned that love wasn't about equal bank accounts or resumes. It was about shared values, loyalty, and kindness. Michael supported her dreams but also reminded her to slow down and enjoy life. On quiet Sunday mornings, with newspapers spread across the table and Sophie playing nearby, Victoria often thought back to that first night at the café. What had begun as an awkward blind date had become the foundation of something she had almost stopped believing in: real, steady, selfless love. Thank you for joining us for this story. If it reminded you that true love is built on character, not titles or wealth, give this video a like, share it with someone who believes in genuine connection, and subscribe for more stories from Kin Hidden. Tell us in the comments, have you ever found love where you least expected it?